Hey there, Jellicle Cats! Welcome to Enthusiastic Encouragement and Dubious Advice, the podcast for folks who would rather curl into the fetal position than lean in. I'm your host, Patricia Tuttle.
And I just want to watch some sunsets with some cows, man. I'm Nicole Tuttle. We're recording this show on January 24th, 2026.
Cows watch sunsets?
Yeah, cows have friends. Cows watch sunsets.
Okay. This podcast is independently run and we're hoping to be supported by listeners. Downloading, sharing, and giving us reviews and ratings are free ways to show us support. We currently have 9 reviews on Apple Podcasts, and I would love to get to a dozen.
Could we do a baker's dozen?
Yeah, baker's dozen.
If you get us to 12, one of you needs to throw in a free 13th review.
Free 13th, yeah. Yeah.
If you have a few bucks to donate, our Patreon memberships start at $3 a month, and there are 3 tiers to choose from. And if you are interested in giving your sweetie a gift for upcoming Valentine's Day, we make a great gift of a subscription.
Yeah, you can also gift a subscription to the Enthusiastic Encouragement and Dubious Advice newsletter, which is linked on our website, eedapod.com. Also linked there is our bookshop. Also linked there is our merch shop. There are so many ways to show us support.
However, if you subscribe to our mid-tier on Patreon, that also gets you a subscription to the Enthusiastic Encouragement and Dubious Advice newsletter.
Yeah, it's actually that mid-tier on Patreon is then like $1 off for like a newsletter Patreon combo.
Yeah, so you can save $1.
So recently, over MLK Day weekend, we took the train to see family in Southern California. It was like a 10-hour train ride each way.
It was great.
Yeah, it was really, really wonderful. Amtrak did a thing where we had just bought coach tickets, but they sent an email. They're like, hey, you want to bid on a roomette, which is like a little 2-person room that has a door that shuts and you get an attendant. And so I bid on it so that we'd pay less for it than we would have if we actually reserved it. And we got a roomette each way. So for us who still mask on transportation and we mask at indoor public spaces, we had our little travel filters and we were able to shut the door and actually have our masks off to do things like eat.
Which is great because my ears do get a little tired after like 10 hours.
That's fair. But we saw, our beautiful state. And the train we were on also goes by the coast, closer to Southern California. And we saw a lot of deer.
Saw a lot of vultures and hawks flying around.
Yeah, lots of birds of prey.
We saw a coyote.
We did. Good spotting. We also saw a kid that did a wheelie.
Oh, yeah. He did a sick wheelie on his bike.
Yeah. He saw the train come by and he did a sick wheelie. And I was like, you know what, kid? I'm going to remember that the rest of my life.
Yeah, good job. Kid in town we don't know who has a mountain bike and did a cool wheelie on a train the other day.
Yeah. No, I loved it. He was planning that. Like,
oh, yeah. Saw the train coming and was like, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do a sick wheelie. And he did. And I remember it. And it was great. Also, coming up tomorrow for us, but by the time you hear this show, it's going to be in the past, is the preview day for the Oakland Museum of California White Elephant Sale that I know I've talked about before. Like, this is my Super Bowl. This is my Roman Empire. And it happens kind of once a year. Like, there's the preview sale, and then there's a few weekends of like general admission sale. And it is a bunch of people leave their entire estates and they donate things. And it's a huge warehouse of stuff. It's like a giant rummage sale, but it is so well organized.
And curated.
Everything is clean. You're not going to be handling a bunch of dusty, grimy stuff.
No, like all the games are checked for all their pieces, all the puzzles checked for their pieces, all the sewing machines work and they've been checked and even have example stitching.
Yeah, they have sample stitches, like little swatches.
Yeah, everything is immaculate. This is all items that were donated or left to this event, which is a fundraiser for the Oakland Museum of California, which is one of our favorite local museums. And to be clear, they are not selling any live elephants.
They are not, no. They are also not selling any dead elephants, for the record.
That's very true. There may be like statues of elephants or something. I don't know. We didn't really see an elephant section last time.
No, but they have, everything is, like you said, curated. Everything's in its own section too.
Yeah, they
right?
totally have like a furniture section, an art section. The Christmas decorations section is super hot every year.
People go wild for the vintage Christmas decor. Like,
Yeah.
I just stay away from that section first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things. This year, it opens at 10 a.m. Last year, we got there at about 8:30. And we were behind like a mile of people in line, almost like a half mile of people.
Oh, it was probably a mile. It was long.
So this year, we're going to get there quite early.
Yeah.
We borrowed some camp chairs.
We will sit.
We will sit. We will hang out. There's going to be other weirdos there, so it'll be great.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
We also recently, I just want to share, we got a new dining table. It is currently sitting in boxes, but we've talked about starting to have Sunday dinners and have people over for dinners. And we wanted a table that had like a leaf in it that expands. Right now, our table seats 4 and not quite comfortably. It's a old IKEA table.
It's like IKEA's basic wood table. It's not even like finished wood.
No, and you know what? I got it from the guy who was in the apartment before me in Pasadena. So I've had this table like a few months longer than I've had you. And I like bought it off him for like $100, and it's just been like the table.
It has served us well.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it up on the local neighborhood Buy Nothing group, and we'll build this new table.
And then we'll have room for guests.
Yay!
To sit more comfortably and eat with us.
So I know in the last episode we talked about goals and plans, etc. But this year has had a rough start in a lot of ways.
I feel like even at that, you're massively underselling the state of things.
Yeah, I think I'm also referring to rough start like personal, like family wise, also
globally,
nationwide,
geopolitically.
Yeah. And we want to acknowledge that this country's really scary right now. And I, for one, feel really helpless. And having everything be business as usual, whether it's day jobs or podcasts, is deeply unnerving.
Yeah. So this is us naming the thing instead of skipping right over it and pretending everything is fine. Because honestly, it's not. It's not.
It's not. And I just really also want to name that. It feels weird to like just be plugging along and how are you? Oh, what'd you do this weekend? Or whatever. And not name the horrors.
Yeah.
One of the main ways I'm trying to manage my sanity is by trying to be present and focus on what I can control in my own life. Like, absolutely, we have fully descended into fascism. And have I eaten today? Have I looked out a window today? Have I communicated with loved ones today?
Yeah. And I would like to highlight the things that are like eating, drinking water, getting enough exercise and rest. I think of it right now as the same idea as putting on your oxygen mask before you help others put on theirs. But since this isn't like a needing an oxygen mask situation, you don't have to do all of that alone.
Yeah. Spending time with people in person has been really helpful. I'm really grateful we have friends who are willing to meet outdoors or take COVID tests before they come over. And today I want to offer an addition to the idea in one of our earliest episodes titled There's No Such Thing as Five-Star Cereal, which, by the way, is our most downloaded episode when I last checked. And what I want to add is this: not every gathering or hangout needs to be a production. Not everything needs to be stage managed, and we're going to give some examples.
The one that really sticks out immediately is our winter holiday Christmas party with our friends. We potlucked it. We made it a team effort. Patricia and I made kind of a main. Like, I did some ham, you did some potatoes, but we had everybody bring a little something. This was great because it meant we weren't in the kitchen the whole time our friends were here, or like the whole day. We could just do a little something. Everyone did a little something, but we could spend more time together.
Yeah, we had a shared document, and up top we had everyone put, their food allergies. And then down below we had sections for like appetizers, mains, dessert, whatever. And people could put what they were bringing. And we didn't micromanage what we wanted people to bring. We figured everyone is a responsible adult. They can look at the list, see what other people are bringing, and determine what to bring.
Yeah, and it worked out really well. It was great.
Yeah. Another example is that most weeks, one of my friends comes over early on a weekday morning, like before I start working, and we walk a loop around the neighborhood. And that's about 45 minutes, and that's the extent of our hangout. It's just like a quick 45-minute weekday morning loop around the neighborhood to spend quality time together and get in the little movement. And on a different weekday morning before work, another friend comes over and I make us coffee and we fill out our planners and trade planner supplies, which I call shopping at Patricia Mart. And we chat. And sometimes if I have time and buttermilk, I'll throw together some biscuits, which takes like 40 minutes or something like that. And so we'll have coffee and biscuits. And it's like really low key and really good for my mental health.
Something you probably heard us rave about in the last episode was going to sauna with friends. And this is like a really perfect example of what we're getting at here. It was an hour and a half. There was no like, we're going to go eat together before or after. It was just a small, contained social time.
And it was enough.
It was totally enough. We felt really good afterwards.
Yeah. So when we took the train trip to SoCal, we were with family, and one day we sat and watched football playoffs and the Murderbot Diaries, and we just sat and hung out. And on another day, we drove a couple hours to Santa Monica to drop off some bike parts. And that reminds me, like, time together can be errands, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But like, time together can just be hanging out.
It was funny. We did struggle a little bit initially with the just like sitting and watching TV with family, because like that's not something we typically do.
Yeah.
But it did also foster like a lot of just conversation, talking, like a lot of things in the interim. It wasn't just everybody focused on the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a couple months ago, one of our friends had bought some cake that they wanted to share with us.
Like a fancy limited edition chocolate cake from Tokyo. Like,
it was kind of a fancy cake.
It was fancy cake. And there were two of them.
There were two of them. And they're like, hey, you want to come over and try this fancy cake with us? We'll order a pizza. And so we just like went over in an evening. It wasn't too long we were there. Maybe like an hour or two.
And it was a weeknight. I remember it was like December 23rd.
Yeah.
After work, we went over and had cake and pizza.
We just had cake and pizza. Had some pizza, had a little water, had fancy cake. And we were like, this was great. Thanks, everyone. And then we headed home. Which also, I just want to comment, as an adult, you can totally have like pizza and cake parties with your friends. It doesn't have to be a birthday event or anything. You can just be like, let's get a cake and some pizza.
You know, I've been wanting an ice cream cake. I feel like we should do that.
We can totally just do an ice cream cake.
Like, ooh, what do I want them to write on it? I don't know.
I don't think we have to order one with writing on it. You can just pick up an ice cream cake.
We can, but also I could order one with writing on it.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think that having like a whole 4-hour game night or dinner party is really great and we love it. But not every hangout has to be that. Like, not every gathering has to be a whole production. And once I started embracing that idea, I found that I see people more. Thinking that everything had to involve time and a lot of money and labor and outfits and going a bunch of places was actually a barrier for me to hanging out with people because like I would think about it and I would get either overwhelmed or I'd just be like, I don't have the energy. And then I wouldn't.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of work to like hire a set designer and lighting and a DJ,
Costumes.
costume designer.
Elvis impersonator.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like all that gets a little it's a lot of time and effort to plan. We were actually talking about this. Was this even on the train? Like, I remember in the 90s, which some of you kids today may refer to as the late 1900s, but like, we would just show up at a friend's house. Friends would just show up.
Recognizing you were a child in the 90s and I was a teen in the 90s.
I had some teen years in the 90s. I was not just a child.
Tween. She's rolling her eyes at me, everyone.
I would be like, how dare you? But like, it wasn't just like friends and stuff. This would happen, like adult family friends and stuff. This would happen with sometimes.
Yeah, so like as kids, I don't even know what a play date, like play dates didn't exist. Like you
No.
would just hang out with your friends. But I think that also, yeah, my mom's friends would just stop by.
Yeah. Sometimes I'd come home from like school on a Friday or something, or come back from a friend's house, and my parents' friends would be there.
Yeah. And like you were saying, like you didn't technically as a child, you didn't know if they called beforehand.
And we're like, hey, can I come over?
But also, like, I remember my mom's friends were not call ahead people. they were not planners, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, like, oh no, a few years ago, it might have been 2020. My mom and I were talking on the phone, and she was like, "Remember my friend so and so? Yeah, they brought Angela Davis over to the house." And I was like, "What?" And my mom's like, "Yeah, you were like 3." And they brought Angela Davis over. It's like, what? And I'm pretty sure that wasn't planned.
Could you imagine the phone call though? Like for that, like, hello. Yes, are you available Saturday late morning? Yeah, you'll be home? Okay, great. I'd love to come over. I'm going to bring a couple of friends. Is that cool?
But the way, yeah, I don't know, the way my mom was and the way my family was, like, yeah, bring everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
Everyone's welcome. Bring everyone over. So
I learned that really early.
you did learn that really because you were also very welcomed by family. Like,
Absolutely.
yep.
As soon as they put a plate in front of me and saw that I would eat it all, that was it.
That was it.
in.
Yep. You're a good eater. You're a good eater. I also remember in college, like, of course, college was easier because you had dorms, right? And everyone was right there, or you could walk to your friends' dorms or whatever. But I also remember I went to college in LA and we would drive to a friend's house in the valley. And the extent of our hangouts was like putting on the Rent CD and singing the entire show in her bedroom. So, we're 2.5 hours singing through Rent. And like that was our hangout.
That must have been 2 CDs.
Oh, it was absolutely a 2 CD set. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other things we've like really talked about with our friends is having like record listening parties. Because we've got a whole bunch of records we've inherited that we don't know what they sound like, and we don't know if they're ones we want to keep to listen to again.
Yeah, that's true. We should have some friends over. Because also, like, for the ones we want to get rid of, like, they might want them. I don't know.
Yeah, they might have heard of that band. They may love them for all we know.
Or we can donate them to the Oakland Museum of California White Elephants.
Absolutely.
I think we've also talked about having people over for silent reading time. Like, we provide the coffee and tea, and then everyone can bring snacks to share, and they could bring whatever they're reading, or they could read one of our mini books, and we just have like quiet reading time.
I really love this idea. And even beyond quiet reading time, I love the idea of like a friend showing up and being like, can I just chill on your couch and read?
Yeah.
Like, don't have to actually like entertain. I
Yeah.
don't have to give them the old razzle dazzle, but just like, oh yeah, no, that's our friend. They sometimes just chill on the couch and read something they found off our shelf. They know where the tea is and the kettle.
They know where the tea is. They see the hot water kettle. Like,
yeah, I love this idea so much. The other thing is like, if there's something you're doing alone, like an errand, like we did the other day with your family, like had to drive out to drop off some bike parts at a bike shop, like you can invite a friend. More people are just happy to go along with you, I think, than you think they are.
yeah, and I think that we could be better at that too.
Absolutely
Like,
can.
we're going to the thrift shops, we're going to Ulta or whatever.
Like, hey, want to tag along?
Yeah, see who wants to come along.
Yeah. And then you just have that little bit of time together in a car or whatever to really connect. Okay, Patricia, what do you want people to take away from this?
I've said it multiple times, like, not every gathering needs to be a whole production. Nicole, what do you want people to take away?
I think it's important to remember more things can be hangouts, even mundane things. Like you said, it doesn't have to be a whole production. You can just like hang out.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of time. What are you reading right now, or have you read anything good lately?
Oh, I am so deep, and you've heard me talk about this book so much lately. I am reading Bound for the Promised Land, Harriet Tubman, Portrait of an American Hero by Kate Clifford Larson. And this is a really well-researched and documented biography of Harriet Tubman. And it has made me rant so many times around the house to Patricia.
Oh my gosh.
Because, like, in public school, the education, like what I heard or was taught about Harriet Tubman was like, Harriet Tubman guided people on the Underground Railroad out of the South and into the free North. And later I've like heard people talk about like, oh, Harriet Tubman was fierce and like, if you were going to turn around and go home or something, she might shoot them or something. But like, y'all, this woman was amazing. First off, she didn't just guide people to the free North. She took people all the way to Canada.
Up and out of this country.
Just
up and out.
Up and out. Straight across Niagara. Like, everybody out of the country into Canada. There was like a whole community up there that like she helped populate.
But also, like you said, she was helping fundraise too.
Yeah, so then she would not just leave people, she'd come back into the big cities because there were all these charitable organizations, and she would work with them to fundraise to help support the formerly enslaved people in their new communities.
Yeah, she wouldn't just drop people off and be like, vaya con Dios, like,
later, y'all. Good
Later.
job. Be free.
Be free.
No, she did this for ages. And like, yeah, it wasn't just any old free people. She kept returning to her hometown.
That too.
And
Yeah.
taking like her family and friends and everybody from the hometown. People in Maryland were freaking out by the amount of people she took out of there or helped take out of there. But then the Civil War kicked off. She headed down south to South Carolina and was like a scout. She would scout ahead, but then she would also like come back, helped in the camps, and then she helped establish washrooms and other places and started teaching the newly freed, formerly enslaved people how to earn wages. like how to navigate a wage economy and work within that instead of never having really earned money in that way. And then like also helped them like move around and would continually during the Civil War time return to the North to raise money to help all these people.
Yeah.
Like,
so much we don't know. And you said, in public school, you didn't learn this. I went to all private schools. I also didn't learn any of this.
no, she was like out there doing the work for years,
Mm-hmm.
all while having like major like disabilities in the form of like temporal lobe seizures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're definitely going to link this book in the show notes and in our bookshop. It's definitely added to my TBR as well.
Yeah. Patricia, what are you reading right now?
So I'm going to talk about the book I'm reading right now, but also I'm going to add a couple extra books that are all in line with what we talked about today. Funny enough, I've been thinking about this a lot. So right now I'm about to finish The Art of Gathering, How We Meet and Why It Matters by Priya Parker. It was published in April 2020, which is really unfortunate for a book about gathering. And so I missed it on my radar, and I only heard about it within the past month or so because she was on an episode of NPR's Life Kit podcast. And I was like, oh, let me check out this book. And I was like, oh, it was published like almost 6 years ago now. So it's actually really interesting, and it's almost the opposite of what we talked about today. It's actually being really intentional with your gatherings to get what you want out of it and so forth and so on. I think it's more complementary to what we talked about today because there are so many different ways of gathering. One of the things I did really like was one of the things she was talking about was like having a rule about not talking about work at a gathering. And it's like, wow, I would love to institute that. But the other books I want to recommend that I've read within the past probably 6 months that are also about gathering. I think this one came out last year. It's called Having People Over, A Modern Guide to Planning, Throwing, and Attending Every Type of Party by Chelsea Fagan. And that was a short one. That was pretty good. And the other one, it came out in September. It's Good Things, Recipes, and Rituals to Share with the People You Love, a cookbook by Samin Nosrat, just like how Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat has some recipes, but also like some text to read. Good Things also has a reading bit and then also recipes. And so I listened to it on audiobook. It was maybe a couple hours to get all of the stuff about gathering. And then I also have it for the recipes. But I think it's really worth the read.
Yeah, that one is on my TBR. Well, despite all the horrors, Patricia, what has been filling your cup lately?
Absolutely grasping at everything to fill my cup. And lately it was the train trip, the 10 hours each way. Like that was a bucket list item. Like I've been wanting to take a longer train trip. It wasn't overnight. Like we left in the morning, we got there in the evening. But I really loved it. And seeing family was filling my cup. And like I mentioned, this white elephant sale is like one of my favorite things of the winter.
Kind of like your white whale?
No.
Okay.
No, because I always know when it is. I'm not hunting for it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I didn't read Moby Dick.
Nicole, what's filling your cup?
The train trip and seeing family was really great. I've also wanted a long train trip, so I was really excited to do that with you. But really, the thing that topped off my cup over this last week is the same thing that happens whenever we take a trip like this. It's really the time I get to spend with you. That always just fills me right up. Like, yes, I know we were not locked in, but sat in a small box together for like 10 hours, and it was the best thing.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And we did some productivity things, but also we stared out the window and it's like, look at that cow, look at that bird, look at that deer.
Oh, sheep.
Oh, sheep, goats, horses.
Chickens.
Oh yeah, I didn't see the chickens.
I
But
saw some
you saw the
chickens.
chickens.
Yeah. That coyote.
That coyote. Sick wheelie.
That coyote looked so confused as to why there was a train.
Well, that's our show for today. We'd like to thank our awesome audio editor, Jen Zink. You can find her at loopdeloo.com, and we'll leave a link to that in our show notes.
You can find the full show notes and transcript at eedapod.com. That's EEDAPOD.com. There you can also find a link to our Patreon, our bookshop link, and a link to the ongoing Enthusiastic Encouragement and Dubious Advice newsletter. You can also find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at EEDAPod, and email us at eedapod@gmail.com.
We're nothing if not consistent.
And we would really appreciate it if you would rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts that allow for ratings. You know, like we said at the top, on Apple Podcasts, we've got 9 ratings. We'd love to see a baker's dozen.
Baker's dozen. We would also appreciate anyone who can subscribe to us on Patreon. Support there is going to help us keep the show going, especially without ads. You can find us at patreon.com/eedapod. In the meantime, we hope you find ways to be kind to yourself, drink some water, and read a book. We'll be talking to you soon. I got a rumbly in my tumbly.
Ooh, let's go have some cake.
Yeah.